The mailbox stood empty for 22 birthdays. After a while, I stopped opening it with hope. I only opened it because old habits are difficult to bury. At 87 years old, I had convinced myself that my only son had erased me from his life. I told everyone I understood. I lied every single time. If you stay with me, I'll tell you why I spent 22 years believing my son no longer loved me, and how one dusty shoebox in a lawyer's office shattered everything I thought I knew about forgiveness. My name is Clara. I became a mother at 26. I became a widow at 49. And, without realizing it, I became a stranger to my own son before either of us knew how to stop it. Daniel was always a gentle child. He cried when birds flew into windows. He carried injured kittens home in his backpack. When he was 9 years old, he spent 2 weeks building a wooden birdhouse with his father. After my husband died, Daniel changed. Not overnight. Grief is quieter than that. He smiled less. Worked more. Spoke only when necessary. I thought time would heal him. Instead, it carried him farther away. When he turned 28, he announced he had accepted a job in Oregon. Nearly 2,000 miles away. I'll visit often. He hugged me tightly. I promise. He meant it. For the first few years. Christmas. Thanksgiving. My birthday. Then promotions came. Children. Mortgages. Life. Visits became phone calls. Phone calls became text messages. Eventually. Silence. I never blamed him aloud. But inside, I collected every missed birthday like another stone in my pocket. Neighbors would ask, "Will your son be visiting?" I'd smile. "He's very busy." Busy became the explanation for everything. Busy enough to miss birthdays. Busy enough to miss Christmas. Busy enough to miss the funeral of the woman who lived next door and had helped raise him. One year, I baked his favorite apple pie anyway. Old recipes don't know when to give up. Neither do mothers. At 84, I fell while changing a light bulb. Nothing serious. A broken wrist. The hospital asked if they should call my son. I shook my head. No. The nurse looked surprised. "Are you sure?" "He's busy." She nodded kindly. She didn't know that those 2 words hurt more than the broken bone. 3 years later, on my 87th birthday, a lawyer called. "Mrs. Bennett?" "Yes." "I'm handling the estate of Richard Collins." The name meant nothing. "He requested that I meet with you." An hour later I sat across from a man I'd never seen before. He placed a worn shoebox on the desk. "This belongs to you." I frowned. "I think you've made a mistake." He slowly shook his head. "No." He was very specific. Inside the shoebox were 22 envelopes. Every one had my name written in familiar handwriting. Daniel's handwriting. My heart nearly stopped. "What is this?" The lawyer folded his hands. "Richard was your son's closest friend." I stared at him. "My son?" He nodded. "They worked together for over 20 years." "I don't understand." He took a slow breath. "Daniel passed away last month." The room became silent. Completely silent. I remember staring at the man's tie because looking at his face hurt too much. "No. He never." He nodded sadly. "He didn't want you told immediately." I couldn't breathe. "What happened?" "Heart failure. Very sudden." I looked down at the box. "My son is..." The word refused to leave my mouth. "Gone." The lawyer gently pushed the shoebox toward me. He asked Richard to deliver these after his death. My hands shook as I opened the first envelope. Happy birthday, Mom. It was dated 22 years earlier. I wanted to call today. I even picked up the phone. Then I remembered our last argument and convinced myself you were happier without me. Another letter. The next birthday. Emma started kindergarten today. She has your smile. Another. I drove past an apple orchard. It reminded me of your pies. Another. I still keep Dad's old pocket knife in my desk. With every letter, my tears fell faster. Every birthday. Without fail. He had written one. Then I reached the final envelope. Written only 3 weeks before he died. Mom, if Richard is giving you this box, then I ran out of courage before I ran out of time. I thought every year would be the year I finally came home. Instead, every year it became harder to explain why I hadn't come the year before. Embarrassment grew into silence. Silence became distance. Distance became 22 birthdays. I covered my mouth. The last paragraph blurred through tears. Please don't remember me as the son who stayed away. Remember me as the little boy who built birdhouses with Dad and believed you could fix anything. I never stopped loving you. I simply waited too long to come home. Inside the final envelope was something else. A small brass key. The lawyer smiled sadly. He asked me to tell you one more thing. I looked up. He rented a storage unit. The key opened it. The next morning, I drove there. Inside wasn't furniture. Or boxes of junk. It was my life. My old rocking chair that Daniel had repaired years ago. My husband's fishing tackle. Family photo albums I thought had been lost in a flood. Even the little wooden birdhouse he had built as a child. On a shelf sat dozens of wrapped birthday presents. Every tag read the same. For Mom. Never mailed. Never opened. There were scarves. Books. Teacups. A music box. A hand-knitted blanket. 22 birthdays. 22 gifts. Waiting. Just like we had both been waiting. For each other. That afternoon I carried the birdhouse home. I hung it in the maple tree outside my kitchen window. Within 2 days, a pair of bluebirds moved inside. Every morning now, I watch them build a home from tiny pieces. One twig. Then another. Patiently. Without wondering why yesterday was empty. People often think forgiveness begins when someone apologizes. Sometimes it begins when you finally understand that the other person was hurting too. Daniel wasn't avoiding me because he didn't care. He stayed away because every year he believed he'd already waited too long. How many families are living that same story today? How many people are only one phone call away from ending years of silence? But keep waiting for the perfect moment? Perfect moments rarely arrive. Ordinary Tuesdays do. Use one. Every birthday now, I open one of Daniel's presents. Just one. There are still several waiting. Not because I want to save them. Because opening them slowly feels like spending one more year with my son. The mailbox at the end of my driveway is still mostly empty. But I no longer look at it with sadness. Because I finally know something I wish I had understood 22 years earlier. Love can be delayed. It can become buried beneath pride, fear, and time. But it does not disappear. Sometimes, it simply waits inside an unopened letter.